Hey, how's it going, everybody? I am back with another movie discussion, and today we are going to be talking about Lady in the Water by M. Night Shyamalan. If you haven't seen this movie, it's 2023, it's been 17 years, you have no excuse. There are spoilers in this video. Now, for years, my favorite Shyamalan movie has not been The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, or even The Village. It has always been Lady in the Water. Here's the Blu-ray copy right here. And I do have my DVD copy that I bought back in 2006 or maybe early 2007 when it came out, and I was always really impressed. Let's see if we can do this here. I was always really impressed by what they did right here with the DVD, how you can kind of turn it and her eyes open and close right there. It's really interesting with it, with how hard this movie bombed. I was always really impressed that they at least tried to do something cool with the DVD cover when it first came out. Now, I realize that I'm in the minority on this, but for some reason, this movie just speaks to me. I think there are several reasons why this movie didn't do well. Number one has got to be marketing. If you were around when this movie came out, you remember that it was marketed like a horror film because you had M. Night Shyamalan's success with The Sixth Sense. You also had Unbreakable that came out after that was a little bit more of like a mysterious movie and not really a horror film. And then you had Signs, and that kind of had like a little horror element to it and everything. The Village kind of had the same thing, but obviously The Village was not what people thought it was going to be either. And then Lady in the Water came out, and by that point, he had not really done a lot in terms of really disappointing people and letting people down. By and large, people really liked Signs. Village was probably a little bit more split down the middle. And then when Lady in the Water came out, kind of all hell broke loose for him. That was kind of the beginning of his downfall. He went from a household name to kind of a joke. And I totally get it. This movie is very strange. But I think that's one of the reasons why it has so much charm for me. I love everything about the movie. I think Lady in the Water has a lot of heart in the movie, and it's really great for people who are generally emotionally sensitive, like me. And I've always told people that you just have to go wherever the movie takes you, and it takes you to a lot of weird places. It has this really unique blend of this mystery element, and then there's this weird, quirky comedy that Shyamalan always has in every one of his movies, and these weird camera shots where it almost feels claustrophobic. But then you also have these really nice wide shots to balance it out. And let's talk for a minute about Paul Giamatti's performance, because this was really my introduction to Paul Giamatti. I had never seen any movie with him prior to this film. His character, Cleveland Heap, is probably one of the most likable people I've ever seen in any movie. Just instantly likable. Now that could just be Paul Giamatti. Even when he's playing a villain, he's still somewhat likable. Well, most of the time. But I just love the performance that he gives in this movie, and there's also a fantastic part where he's having a conversation with someone about what's going on, and he does this little giggle right in the middle of the sentence that he's talking about when he's talking to this character, and it's very much like, this is insane, I know this is crazy. It's almost like Paul Giamatti himself kind of broke character and was kind of giving a wink to the audience by saying, this is crazy. And then also the scene with the milk and cookies, I don't know, I don't think that anyone else could have pulled off this scene. It's a very strange scene. However, it's where the movie wants to take you, so just go with it. Another thing that people really gave M. Night Shyamalan a lot of crap about is the fact that he made himself a hero of the story, this kind of savior of all mankind. And I can kind of see where people are coming from with that. Like, it looked like he was trying to exalt and glorify himself as the person who's going to bring about this great change in the world. And I'm not going to sit here and say that every single movie this man makes is fantastic, because I have seen these movies. But I don't know, like even back when I first saw the film, I didn't really hold it against him that much. He's always liked to insert himself into his movies, whether it's very expositional or just a little side character. All right, so now let's talk about the world that's created within this movie. So the character's story is from what they call the blue world, and we just kind of assume that it's the ocean. And some of the elements that I really love about this movie is that they talk about it a few times. There's a few little nods that they kind of talk about the world itself. They talk about how she's clumsy, and they all make fun of her. And when Cleveland dives into the pool to see where she's been staying, you get a glimpse into this world a little bit. It's like the most that you actually get. You see all the things that she collects, and you see these really cool symbols and everything. I don't know, I've always found it very creative. And part of it is probably because I love nautical stuff, so that obviously helps. And plus, I just love the overall idea of it. You know, like these creatures, you know, they come and talk to man, and you know, they inspire him to do great things in the world. It's just a really cool idea and concept. He also wrote a book of the same title to be a bedtime story for his children. So if you've never read it, then I do suggest you check it out because it is pretty cool and it is different from the movie. I think there may have been some studio interference when it came to making the movie, so you might be better off checking out the book to get a better idea of what he was going for. Or I don't know, maybe the man is just crazy. But crazy or not, still love the movie. I think the movie is beautiful. The score by James Newton Howard is one of the best I've ever heard. I used to have the soundtrack on CD back before it was impossible to find anywhere, and if I ever come across it, you better believe I'm gonna pick it up. And I love how the entire movie is shot in this one location called the Cove. And again, I'm a huge sucker for anything nautical or anything having to do with tropical or the beach or the ocean or anything like that. I've always just found that kind of stuff really cool. Not too long ago, I actually vectorized the logo for the Cove, and I actually want to get a t-shirt, wear it out, and see if anyone recognizes it. I doubt they will. So let's really quickly talk about the ending. So the Great Eatlon comes and then the Tartutic, and it is just insane. Like, this is crazy. This is a very crazy final scene in terms of what happens in the movie. This is the part where I almost check out, but for some reason, I think it's a combination of the score and the fact that the movie is wrapping up. The movie is pretty much over at this point, and it's like you almost lost me. However, you really brought me back with this incredible score. And also, one of the things that I've always loved, and I remember talking about this when the movie first came out, after everything happens and after story is taken away on the Great Eatlon, I love the shots where it's looking at the characters, looking up at the sky and watching. And I felt this exact same way with the village. It's like, wow, these characters are witnessing something they never ever thought they would witness. What are they going to do with this knowledge? How are they going to live their lives now? Like, especially the character of Vic. He knows that he's going to do something that's going to change the world. And he also knows that he's going to be killed for it. But I've always just had that thought of, how are these people going to proceed with their lives knowing what they know? And also, is it going to really increase their bond together? I've always found that interesting as well. And one thing that I don't want to forget to talk about is the opening narration. There are a lot of people that make fun of it. I have always thought it was cool, especially from a design perspective, but also a movie making perspective. I think that it's a really great intro into the entire world of the movie that you're going into. It has this great air of mystery to it, and the narrator that they got, David Ogden Sears, he did the voice of Cogsworth in Beauty and the Beast and a lot of other things. But his voice in this opening narration really did help lend to this amazing world that you're about to go into. It would have just been really cool if we had actually got to see this amazing world. But I think that that's part of the mystery. I think that actually kind of helps the integrity of the movie a little bit more. The fact that we never ever see where she came from, and also even when the Great Eatlon takes her away, we see this really cool shot of the Eatlon flying through the air and everything, and everyone looking up at her, but that's the last that we ever see of Story. And also, gosh, I love the underwater shot where you see the eagle coming down and kind of swoop her up and take her away. It's just beautiful. And also the creature design on those scrunts, the fact that no CGI was used, that's amazing. Those things are terrifying, and I've always thought they were really cool. So is it a perfect movie? Does every single thing work every time it's on screen? No. But I think this movie does a great job of pulling at your heartstrings if you are that kind of person. If you enjoy highly emotional movies and you're just in it for the entertainment aspect, then I think you'll love Lady in the Water. I've seen every M. Night Shyamalan film except for Avatar. I just straight up refuse to see that one, and I still haven't seen Knock at the Cabin yet. But I think it's pretty safe to say that Lady in the Water is always going to be my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's crazy. It's definitely off its rocker, but it is very good. And like I said earlier, if you allow yourself to be taken where the movie wants to take you, then just go with it, and I think you'll have a great time. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this movie discussion. If you like these videos, please let me know down in the comments. I want to make sure that I'm putting out content that everyone is going to be able to enjoy. Please hit like and subscribe at the bottom and click the bell for notifications to be notified of all future content. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.